Say you work at Konami and your boss walks in and tells you you're making a Wizard of Oz action RPG. How would you go about that? Maybe Dorothy's the main character, pulls different weapons out of her basket, clicks her shoes to do special attacks, maybe Toto is a gun. The final boss would obviously be the witch and the wizard, I guess. Story accuracy isn't too important here, it's about making bosses that are immediately, yes, I get it. You feel me? You'd probably butcher a whole ass kingdom of munchkins and monkeys, yeah? Need basic enemies. Killing munchkins isn't in poor taste, by the way. Amalur already did that, plausible deniability. And for other characters, or other bosses, you'd have the Scarecrow, the Cowardly Lion, and the Tin Man to work with. That's some pretty fertile ground, huh? I can see them making a game out of this. Oh my god. Sword of Etheria, or Chains of Power, or just Oz, is an old PS2 action RPG, pubbed and devved and not released in North America by Konami, though it did hit the Land of Lines. As a Konami property, it was stitched together by several devs who worked on Castlevania and Suikoden. Somehow. I know. KBash, why are you trotting this shambling wreck out in front of me? It smells. Hey KBash, nice emulator settings. How many cores your PC got? Well, this would have been Vagrant Story actually, but my, hard drive died, so, So what's the game? What's the scenario? Nothing to do with Wizard of Oz. No Yellow Brick Road, no Emerald City, not even a tornado. I don't even think anyone in the game could be classified as a witch. Meal of the day, noun soup. Let's count them. The world is infused with Etheria, a magic substance that powers the planet, like the quintessence of the world. Humans can't harness it, but Katenas can. Katenas being basically human, but with the ability to use Etheria, specifically to materialize armor and weapons from Etheria called Lexes. I'm gonna be stuck explaining stupid faking nouns until the end of time, Jesus Christ. The only reason any of that matters is the gods. More or less, they mind control the Katenas to oppress humankind and slurp up Etheria and light, I guess. To be fair, God as a parasite is highly nuanced commentary, and I will be dropping a Sword of Etheria explained video immediately following this one. The game starts with a trio of primary color pals traversing the Dark Realm, but an uh-oh happens. And now Red Guy is dead. Thankfully, he's replaced in the next jump cut by himself, but younger. Okay. Buddy's town's under fire by Katenas as decreed by the gods, and they're going around snatching up children in case you weren't sure if they're evil or not. Your sister Dorothy, reference located, makes a run for the hills with the other townsfolk. Thankfully, Toto decides to help. Is this how all the references are gonna be? Red, demon, cat, stuffy thing? I never thought I'd be mad about, hashtag not my Toto, whatever, Toto in name alone, but Jesus. I have like one single smidge, one squirty smidge of respect for the source material, you don't have to use it. Did that occur? So you might be expecting the main character to be named something like whatever this bullshit is, but somehow, even more embarrassingly, it's Feel. Feel. Get a feel for that one, okay? Let it sink in. Feel ill is what I'm feeling. I am not, in fact, feeling it, Mr. Krabs. Knock knock. Who's there? Feel. Feel who? Feel these no- I'm gonna have to talk about the game. So, Sword of Etheria is a low-grade action RPG. It's not Devil May Cry. It doesn't have an expanding moveset. You don't do much else but run between circles or combat zones or whatever and do your stuff. Stuff includes mashing the attack button, locking on, guarding, dashing, and anyone trying to get plowed by Johnny Young Bosch.
Let's do it.
Sorry. The only real mix-up to the formula, and something that is, on paper, a great idea, is the team system and its fiddly bits. You might start the game alone, but you'll quickly convert followers and go on a god-killing rampage. Look, religious irreverence ain't new, Oz. This is just an extension of early aughts video game edge. What else you got?
Happy feet! One more combo!
I'm listening. Your teammates are mostly dumb AIs, no better than Trials of Mana, but at least you can kind of direct them. The real use is snatching up any enemies you knock up or away, hitting them mid-air, and passing them either to the next party member or you, starting a chain combo. That's all baked into the system. It's pretty neat to see. For about 1 hour. Like, this is the kind of system you see once, think, okay, that looks cool, not bad, then turn the thing on and find yourself running around playing volleyball with a duo of incompetent nitwits while you struggle to keep up because your frame data totally blows. If you don't play a lot of games, I'm saying it's hard to keep the ball in the air because your sword is a little slow. Now, combos have a purpose. First of all, they get you the shmoney. so you can level up. More importantly, they build up that side gauge, which will let you pop off a special move corresponding to the level. The bigger the bar, the bigger the nut. So the system's fine, it's cute, sometimes it's cool. But since you're forced to do combo attacks, and I'm serious, on normal and up, basic attacks just don't cut it for over half the game. You end up watching the same moves, performing the same stuff ad nauseum, getting pissed at dropped combos. It ends up being more stressful than something like Devil May Cry, which, yeah, uses rapid inputs, requires a decent amount of knowledge to be proficient with. But the thing is, Devil May Cry and other action games don't really punish you for not doing the thing. Like, you don't have to get triple S combos in DMC on normal, you don't have to use extra weapons. Same with Ninja Gaiden, you don't need to flying swallow anybody, you don't need to engage with the wall, it's just good. In Oz, you drop combos and the game grinds to a halt. Your damage is halved, quartered at times. It prescribes playstyle, and that's not bad design inherently, but it is narrow design. And when design is narrow, people either walk the path or don't. Very little about the game, from its budget feel to its weak animations to its payoffs, actually ask the player to keep going. Unfortunately, that's my job. And it kinda sucks that that weakness is something created by the party design. Combat's one unique element. Thinking back on it, Trials of Mana is set up similarly, but it's one of my PS4 favorites, and your team mostly exists to provide utility, unique skills, and to greenlight special attacks. But that stuff builds up without characters physically interacting. I've often thought that interactivity makes games cool, like the visceral energy of throwing a whole-ass person in 3D space. That's king. That's the vibe, but Sword of Etheria rides in the face of that. It's too limited, too annoying, too often. I got the sense that Konami didn't up, per se, just got a little too ambitious. You don't see mechanical stuff like this in most classic video games. And I mean, the levels are all mostly boring slogs. They're the same content reskinned, minus a couple collect the party or defend the things or break the objects challenges, right? At least they try to spin the thing, but it's a pretty weighty base. The story is pretty video game story, TBH. You run around as the traitors to the gods, murdering all their henchfolk and slaughtering them one by one. Who could forget the classic scene in Wizard of Oz where the party kills the missile-launching jetpack dragon? I remember when the Wizard of Oz had the friends fight shadow clones of themselves. Very famous scene. Shoot, what was that thing the wizard said when they looked behind the curtain? What was that phrase? Kill me! Kill me! Living the millennial experience, I see. Now, but the wizard doesn't actually appear in the game. There is no wizard. Wizard of Oz, no wizard. Wizards. I'll take my Oz with no wizard, thanks.
What the
Now, the party's made up of, you guessed it, the Tin Man, the Scarecrow, and the Lion. Except they're inverted, kind of. See, Leon's not cowardly at all. If anything, he's a little too aggro, a little too, I'm gonna shove my fist up the ass of the god. Okay, thanks, bro. The Scarecrow, Almira, isn't stupid. She's too smart, too logical. And Feel is the Tin Man, but instead of no heart, he feel. I just love that goofy face they give him. Like, he's upper teens or something, constantly goes, I'm not really sure how to commentate this inversion, if you will. Feel's made out to be remarkable for a lot of reasons. He balances the other two out. He's able to control Alex when the other humans can't. He spends most of his screen time like a less effective Nero from DMC, getting pissed about the injustice of it all.
You really are a pathetic reject.
Come on, Feel, there's no reason to be upset. In some circles, that counts as foreplay. None of these characteristics, the extremes the characters embody, meaningfully contribute to the literature the game's vaguely based on. Like, The Wizard of Oz is about not having something, going on a journey to get your problems fixed, and facing the sad reality that it's not that easy, and realizing your own potential afterwards. Sword doesn't really follow or comment on that. It truly is schlock dressed in tropes, but to be fair, the book's in the public domain, like Dracula, and Konami's already done Castlevania. Oh my god, is that why? If anything, the only half-interesting bit about the story is branching choices. But like, the budget isn't that big, you don't get whole other levels. Instead, you can build affection with one of the base party members through dialogue, and then the other gets shuffled off for a bit while another member joins you based on how you act in a boss fight. It's a neat idea. The other guys, the replacement Oz, super weird. Like, my group's all based on actual characters. Who the f is Juju based on, huh? Juju? Gallum? Vetus? What is that? Seriously, the strongest lead I got is Vetus is grapes, same color, checks out. Gallum? I don't know. But the game obviously cares more about style than substance, and that's not so wrong. Seriously, the official art is powerful. It's like Fantasy Twiwi or something. I love what they did with most of these designs. It's a shame they're locked in such an unwanted game. Now, New Oz starts as a series of bosses and ends up allying with the party, and they're fun in different ways. I definitely say they're boss fights, no question about that. I am going to burn every last copy of The Wizard of Oz. Bosses in general really suck for a couple of reasons. Aside from bloated health pools and high damage, most of them have some kind of invulnerability tacked on, and that's pretty rare for a good action game. Like, flying around an arena is decidedly not what action gamers like from their bosses, especially when you got no projectiles. Almost all of them are accompanied by minions as well, which tends to indicate a really shallow boss fight that needs a supplemental element. But in Etheria, they're really there to get smacked around to build up the tension bar. That sounds good, you know, comboing some dudes to unleash free Omega attacks and burn through the bosses quickly, but what actually happens is you get sucker punched trying desperately to engage with the system how it wants you to, or playing extremely defensively so you don't make any mistakes. And you're barely engaging with the actual boss, just using nearby dudes to fuel a drive-by on the enemy you're supposed to be fighting. What the hell is that? The death system really mucks with the balance as well, or at least I think it did. You don't die when your health is low, you get knocked away and have to mash to fill up your bar. Any hit will reset your progress, which is extremely f***ing enjoyable. But you won't truly die unless all your friends are downed at once. The AI is fairly stupid, but also somewhat capable of self-defense, so what happens is you're constantly getting floored and mashing your way up while your friends effectively do nothing, and the later boss fights drag out to 10, 15, 20 boring minutes of hurling yourself at the thing until it dies. Boss damage seems as high as it is to account for the system, but it really makes progression feel like banging your head on a wall. And that's the gist of Oz. I'm getting kinda down on this game, so let's bring it around. A lesser person would describe the 3 endings in plain detail, as though their mere existence is worth discussion. You can screw up, do okay, or succeed, and it's all tied to how well you do over the course of the game. If it's your first playthrough, you're losing. Sorry, Sweet Pea. You gotta manage a B grade to even pass. It's so crazy to me, because it's obviously begging the player to engage more with the game, to take another shot at every level, and to get the good end with that additional effort. Basically, become a fan, or f off. Pretty bold approach. And yet, for a game that presents badly, that's boring and frustrating and repetitive, it's willing to reward the player with so much. A totally customizable party with all the major playable characters. Not that they're good, they've all got, quote, unique playstyles, or in other words, have terrible frame data, but at least they're here. You get multiple endings and character interactions if you're into that kind of stuff. You get henchman mode where you beat up the heroes as basic monsters. If you really double down and collect all of these intelligence pages over the course of a playthrough, you unlock Dorothy mode where you just roll around through every level with this superpowered little girl. It's stupid. It's extra, but they did go that mile. They ponied up the content. I mean, this is Konami. They might be openly despised now, and for good reason. But even this budget title got a pile of bonus content. Motherfucking Super Sentai mode? What the fuck? And Konami character costumes? The Konami code works in this game? I'll say it straight, man. Sword of Etheria, Oz, Chains of Power. Game sucks. But for fans? No, I'm kidding. There aren't any fans. Hey, it's KBash. Special thanks goes out to my $4 patrons, whose names are on the screen. The show's on its way somewhere good thanks to the community's generosity. And special thanks goes out to my extra generous patrons who are... A Dead Diehard, Adam Welsh, Alexa, Andy Blarg, Arch, Basement Dweller, BZ Soul, Boha, Brios, Cal, Can I Cuss on Here? Caesar T, Cordant, Christo009, Cody Golden, Corgi the Lad, Couch MOBA, Crater, CW Glassworks, Kyle Lapreed, Daddy Dagoth, Dakota Storm Jones, Dondium, Danky Stank Swanky Make, Dara, David Castillo, Decode, Dutch Dejima Dealer, Dylan Coffee, 8-Bit Funk, Elias, LPO, Elsa, Enix, Aesthetico, Everstone Isle, Exa, Frankenstitch, Glyph Seeker, Guard Corey, Gucci Plant, Hatsune Miku's Crack House, Harkaj, Heman Gamin Station, Hexmex, Huey, Ingenious Clown, I Punched a Sandwich, Irradiated Cherries, Ice Kyle, Ivy Ruth Langley, Jason Lasky, Jaden,
J-Deus, John Weber, Joke Frog,
Keegan Too Cool, Clocked,
Creighton, Crazy Dark Chocolate,
Kais,
Latrix, Laundry Mom, Lego Sid, Lawn,
Low Fat Mogert,
Lucas Boyd,
Lucky McSchmucky,
Magical Madman, Markules, Maximilian Wolfgang Niver,
Mike DeVR,
Milky Moo Official, Mr. Dodongo,
My PP is Hard, Niranu,
Nito Torpedo,
Old Burgle.
Old Man Cranberry, Only LK,
Gaplant, Pandemic Cowboy, PK Gaming, Potato Gaming HD,
Quasar McDougal,
Quillworth,
Quinn,
Reasonable Willow,
Reggie Rodriguez, Sagitrash,
Siren Smells Good,
Salty Smasher,
Sam Vertigo,
Sekai no Awarida, Shad,
Silver Bear 909,
Simp, God,
Sleepy Wabbit, Space Lizard,
Special Children,
Spooky Grimalkin,
Squishword,
Starbound, Steve Invade,
Sublime Cataclysm,
Super Katsanova,
Super Sandwich Guy,
The Big Bubby,
The Salt Knight,
Thick Dick Mystic,
Thrips Heartdrop,
Timid the Writer, Timmy Tim Tam,
Travis Edwards,
Trevingsley, Twiddle Chungus,
V01156,
Vid,
Venom,
Vice Pup,
Viewers Like You, Vic,
Waposa,
Weeb Trash, well shit,
Winter Solstice, Zanny Tanner,
Yay Kundo,
Young Citrus, Zachary Livesey,
Zachary V,
Zanaso,
Zane the Impure, Zane the Pure,
Zed Slayer Gamer, Zilvlin Ray, Cyberbunk.
If you'd like to help support the show and make it even better, check out my Patreon. We've got all kinds of goals and lots of rewards in store. Stay tuned for more. KBash out.